Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca, an American Werewolf in London, Ultimate Jack Goodman and David Kessler 2-pack. I ordered this at the Neca store. I saw it was in stock, went ahead and grabbed it. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, an American Werewolf in London, the monster movie, Ultimate Jack Goodman and David Kessler. Here they are on the front. One side of the package, American Werewolf in London. Other side, same thing. At the back, here are the two figures. Here are a ton of different display options and interchangeable parts. At the bottom, there is a barcode, if that helps anybody. So this is one of Neca's Ultimate figures. You can hear the Velcro, window box packaging. On the inside flap, we have the two of them posed up. And then here are the two figures with all their accessories. So with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now that we have these figures out of the package, here they are with all their accessories laid out. In front of you, we have both Jack Goodman on the left and David Kessler on the right. In this video, we're going to take a look at each of the figures individually. We'll check out their accessories, height and articulation, and we'll compare them with a bunch of other action figures. Let's go ahead and start off with Jack Goodman, the one on the left. So here's Jack Goodman. In the movie, he got killed and kind of turned into a zombie. The movie is classified as sort of horror comedy, and he was a huge aspect of the comedy. At the beginning, when the wolf attacked him, he got completely killed, whereas David got turned into a werewolf or wolfman. Whenever somebody is bitten or scratched by a werewolf, they become werewolf themselves. Jack here didn't become werewolf because he was completely mutilated and fully killed by the werewolf. David got away with a simple scratch or bite. It'll be pretty cool to use this guy for American Werewolf in London figures, as well as just sort of a regular hiker or background character. So let's take a closer look. Start with his face here. Looks pretty good. It looks like maybe he's looking a little bit to the right. Not so much. Hair parted at the side, kind of curled over. They have winter coat on. The only thing I really don't like is the fact that the backpack is permanently attached. I wish that was removable. The figure could be more useful if that's the case. But I also understand the straps wouldn't look as good, etc., etc. The coat looks good. It's gray. It's got hints of brown on it. You can see the buttons up and down. Single jointed elbows. Single jointed knees. Blue jeans. Some brown shoes. You can see the straps hanging down the back. Overall, good looking figure. It looks pretty close to the actor and character. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. He has two different jackets, both the torso and the sleeve areas. One when he's a dead zombie, one when he's an alive hiker. And then he has three different heads. It gives him a total of 2 and possibly 3 different looks. Here's his first look. This is him fully alive as a hitchhiker. He's got flesh-colored hands, normal-looking head, normal-looking jacket, and this version has the backpack on. And then here's his alternate look. This is him in the same outfit, but it's all muddied up, sort of decaying, decrepit. He's dead. His hands are sort of gray. His face is pretty similar, and some of the flesh is rotting off. His outfit is opened up, it's dirty, kind of falling apart. Two completely different looks for this guy, and I think that's a pretty cool idea. Now let's look at his heads. He has a total of 3 of them. One is a regular living head. Number 2 is a dead zombie head. And number 3 is an even more dead zombie head. Here's a look at his first head. This is regular living head. And here's his second head. He's dead. His skin is gray. His flesh is sort of falling off. And here's his third head. I describe this head as being even more dead. And you may wonder, how can you be more dead? Either you're dead or you're alive. Well, this is what it looks like when you're more dead. His eyes are falling out. His skin is more decayed. His teeth are exposed. You can even see his throat here. There's like a hole in it. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing about 6.6, maybe 6.7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 17 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, he can rotate side to side. He can look down a pretty good amount, but up not at all. The collar's obstructing that. Can't really tilt from side to side, at least not much. He has kind of a limited range of motion considering his articulation both the top and the bottom of the neck. Shoulders, on the ball joint, goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got a single jointed elbow, which goes in more than 90 degrees and has rotation. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged. Ball joint in the waist, torso is one solid piece. Rotate around, although not that much. Forward and back. Legs, almost complete as splits. Ball joints can rotate independently against the ball. Then go forward, about that much. Back, not at all. Single jointed knee with rotation. And his ankle, forward and back. Tilt, rock, and there's rotation as well. Now let's look at David Kessler. He's in a similar type winter coat, hiking gear. He has two different heads, one him, sort of like a werewolf, and one totally normal. So let's take a closer look. Start with his face. They both have the sort of old school haircut. His hair a little bit curled to the side. Looks good. You can see a tiny bit of scruff around his face. The expression looks pretty good. He's got the puffy red coat, straps on it for the large camping gear and backpack, which, just like the other one, I wish was not permanently attached. Now I could rip it off, but the straps are always going to be permanently attached. Single jointed elbow, single jointed knee, blue jeans, brown shoes, just like the other guy. Should be good to reenact the scene where he gets bit and attacked. Should be good to use as the characters in this film, and should be good for random hikers for other horror or background scenes in my action figure world. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. Did an excellent job on the hair. The sculpt is good. And then here's this figure, broken down as far as he can go. All of his removable parts detached. And now check out his accessories. He has two heads, one a normal head and one that looks like it's transitioning to a werewolf. Here's a look at his first head. This is the human David Kessler head. And here's a look at his alternate head. I believe this is him as he's transitioning to a werewolf. But it's specifically described as a nightmare expression, so I don't think this is when he was actually turning to a werewolf, but the part of the film where he was having a nightmare. And now for his height. David's a little bit taller than Jack. From top to the bottom, about 6.9 inches tall, which can translate to about 17.5 centimeters. And for the articulation. Starting with his head, he can rotate side to side. He can look up and down. Up, not too much. Once again, the back sort of obstructing that, but down quite a bit. He can tilt his head a little bit more side to side than the other guy. Shoulders. Ball joint goes out less than 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Single jointed elbow. Once again, goes in more than 90 degrees with rotation. His wrist can rotate. It's also hinged. Torso is one solid piece. His waist, his ball joint rotate around, forward and back. Legs, they go out about this far, obstructed by the coat. Ball joints can rotate independently against the ball. They can go forward about that far, back not much. Single jointed knee with rotation, and the ankle. Forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock. And then, to my surprise, they don't use the same legs. I figured they would just be the exact same ones put on each guy, but if you look at the sort of wrinkles at the bottom there, it's definitely a different sculpt, which I find very surprising. Here's a look at David and Jack, hiking through the woods. It's a full moon tonight. The werewolf's about to set everything in the film in motion. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Neca, an American werewolf from London figures. So here's David Kessler, next to the Kessler wolf. Technically, these are both David. as David as a human, and then later as he turns into a werewolf. This was the first figure, I believe, that kicked off the line. It was a deluxe figure. Gorgeous sculpt on the fur, articulation, face. It looks great. As I recall, he doesn't really have a happy ending in this film, but it's kind of cool to have both versions of him. I never would have guessed they'd give us Jack and David as human hitchhikers. And here they are, next to 4 of these Neca werewolf soldier guys. These were in the movie in a dream sequence where they sort of invaded the house. All these soldiers, they turned into a werewolf and sort of shot everybody. Pretty weird scene, but makes for a pretty cool little band of action figures. Giving us Neca's entire An American Werewolf in London action figure collection. I can't think of anything else they could possibly give us from this film. And I doubt they're going to give us any American Werewolf in Paris figures as well. The only thing useful from that would be maybe a werewolf or two. Here they are, next to Neca's Universal Monsters, the Wolfman figure, which they made a bunch of different types of. From left to right, we have the glow-in-the-dark version, the black and white version, the color version, the Crypt Club version, and the Loot Crate version. Then, next to a couple of Neca Raphael as Wolfman figures from their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover with Universal Monsters line. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how they fit in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix them with. Since they're Neca figures, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check them out with some of their Neca brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all for Neca toys, all 7-inch scale, and now with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and some Diamond Select toys. Here's David and Jack next to a cucumber, and here they are with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures, then with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some Jazzwares Fortnite and SH Figure Arts action figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool figure set. I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely a quote-unquote boring aspect to these figures, just 2 regular guys in hiking gear, winter coats. But I love civilian type action figures. I like regular figures. I wish they would give us more victims in horror films. People for Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers to chase after. It's a pretty cool set to sort of complete the American Werewolf in London collection. Like I said before, I can't think of anything else they could possibly make from this movie. If I were to rate these 2 figures, I'd probably give them a 6 out of 10. Like I said, there's a little bit of a boring aspect to them as they're just regular guys. And they don't really have a lot of accessories. I do appreciate the interchangeable parts with Jack. Still, I love civilian and regular background action figures, so these are perfect and right up my alley. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say to the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.